Good morning. It is morning here. I don't know what time it's going to be when you're watching this, but I'm going to redo some of this stuff on my grinding wheels and the grinders. I'm going to do some sharpening here. I have a lot of questions about my bowl gouges when I send them out. They use them. Then when they get dull, they go to sharpen them and they have issues. Sometimes they kind of hack them up. I'm going to see if I can straighten some of that out. And I'll go ahead and post this stuff on my website. And I'm also going to try to answer most of the questions that I get on these CBN grinding wheels. That's the only wheels that I sell now. I don't sell diamond wheels at all anymore. And in the CBN wheels, I have 8-inch and 6-inch, 180 and 80 grit. I always get a lot of questions also about which grit should I use, and I think that probably the best way for people to learn about that, I will show you today some of it. I'll show you the finish that you get off of both of the wheels. But also there's a lot of forums out there that there were guys have bought these wheels and are using them. And also on my website, there's several testimonials. If you go to the testimonial page on my website, you'll see what the experience with for other turners other than me. So I think you'd be better off getting a lot more opinions than maybe just me. If you just go to like Sawmill Creek or WOW or something, just do a search on CBN wheels and you'll get a lot of input from what grit people prefer over one and why they use it over the other one and such as that. So what I'm going to do is this grinder here has got no wheels on it. I'm going to turn it on once here. It is a little bit of a noisy grinder. Some of the questions that I get is, can I use it with a regular matrix wheel on this side and a CBN wheel on this side? Yes, you can. And here's kind of the common sense part of that. These CBN wheels come from the factory balanced. They are bubble balanced and then spun balanced. So if you have a regular matrix wheel that's unbalanced on this side and you're going to put a nicely balanced wheel on this side or vice versa, obviously the balanced wheel is going to increase the quality of the grinder just because you're putting about a 6-pound balanced flywheel on that side. So the answer to that question is yes. You can use a regular matrix wheel and a CBN wheel. Okay, so I'm going to open one of these up because this is the way it's going to come to you. It's going to come just like this, in a box, in a bag. This particular one right here is the 80 grit. Get this out of the way. Okay, so this is what you're going to get. It has a bushing, steel bushing in the center. I've changed this from the original one. It now has a flange on the side of it. I'm not always the brightest light bulb on the string, but when I get a thought in my brain that it's probably a better idea, I usually try to implement it. The other bushings that I had just a straight bushing, no flange, so you use 2 washers. Now it comes this way with just a bushing with a flange on it. These are kind of snug when they go in here. You kind of got to get that centered up and they'll go in there like that. Okay, so it has a tag on here that tells you which grit it is. That tag doesn't matter. It can go outside or inside. I've had questions about that. They always ask me, well, which side does the tag go? Doesn't really matter. It's just the tag that I put on here. Now on this side, it's going to have balance holes. These balance holes are drilled at the factory. Then I double check them on this grinder before I make sure they are true. These balance holes doesn't matter. It can go inside, outside. Now which direction does the wheel go on? It doesn't matter. They are non-directional. So what I tell people to do, and it's wrote on the box there, is to take this bushing out and make sure that it slips on here nicely. You don't want to really jam that on there. You just want kind of a nice slip fit on there. And if it doesn't fit on there, You just turn your grinder on like this. Just take a piece of emery paper or some sanding paper, clean this up a little bit. A lot of times there'll be a little burr right here where this shoulder stops at the end of these threads. And then back here you have another shoulder. And these shoulders back here are not always that true. So by putting this flange against that shoulder, it helps that a lot. Before I mount this, I want to talk a little bit about the regular matrix wheel, which would be a wheel like this. Now you get these washers like this when you buy one of these wheels. And if you put these on here, you can kind of see what's going on there. That's not really what I would call a precision fit. So then you put this wheel on here, and it's not really what we'd call a precision fit. And then you put this on. Okay, and then you're going to spin this. And if you get this so it doesn't run true, you need to leave the guards on for sure with these regular matrix wheels. Don't ever run these without the guards on there. And if you buy one of these regular matrix wheels and you see that the box has been dropped or something, be sure not to run that, because it could have an internal crack in here. I have seen these blow up. But if you want to fiddle with these wheels a little bit by rotating these washers, rotating the wheels, flip the washers in and out, you may get them to run truer. Can't say that for sure, but people have fussed with those a little bit. Some of the grinders, I think it's the jet grinders, are set up so that these washers are supposed to help you line these wheels up. So I'm going to remove this if I can get it off. So that's what I got to say about those. Another thing about those wheels there, if you buy those wheels and you put a one-way balancer on it, and you get it balanced, and you think you're done with it, that's probably not true. As that wheel gets smaller, you're probably going to have to rebalance it again, because what them are, they're just kind of the way they're made up. They're not really balanced all the way through. You have different densities on different parts of the wheels. So as that gets smaller, and if you're starting to lose your balance, you're going to have to take it off and rebalance it again. So that's something to think about. So I'll get back to mounting this on here. I want to show you also, these are the 3 bushings that I manufacture right now. This is a 1/2 inch, because this will fit most 6-inch grinders. This is a 5/8, that'll fit most 8-inch grinders. This is a 3/4. These are all 1 inch to the ID, which is 3/4, 5/8, and 1/2. They all have the flanges on them. They will go on like this. This is kind of probably the fit like we want. That's kind of a slip fit on there. It's snug, but it's a slip fit. So I'll get those out of the way. So now we're going to put the flange towards the grinder motor. We're going to put the washer on, and then the nut. We can give it a quick spin here. You can see it looks pretty good. If it doesn't look real good, you can loosen this up, hold that shaft, turn it a little bit. You should get pretty close right off the bat. We're just going to snug this up a little bit. Right there ought to do it. Now we'll go ahead and fire that up. But I'll touch a little tool to that. We'll see how it runs. It runs pretty smooth. This is the 80 grit right here. You may see a little side-to-side wobble, but the face will run nice and smooth almost every time. I haven't had any problem with that. Okay, so now we have one of them mounted, and these weigh about 6 pounds, 6 ounces, so they do run for quite a while because it's like a pretty big flywheel on there. And if you want to slow them down, if you want it to stop, you can use one of these eraser things to clean your sanding paper with, or you can just take a glove or something like this and slow it down if you want to. So now we've got one of them mounted on there. So now let's put one on the other side. And this is the 180 grit. And I'm going to use both of these in the process today, so you'll be able to see the finish that we get off of these. Get some of this stuff out of the way here. Same way over here. This one doesn't have as many balance holes. It only has one balance hole in it. So this one evidently come off the machine pretty good. And it just has a sticker on the other side. These are electroplated on here. That's how that finish is put on there. So we'll just slip this one on. Flange towards the grinding wheel. We will install the nut, if I can find it again. How did I lose that one? There it is. Now this is a left-hand thread on this side. The reason you have a left and a right-hand thread, because they are self-tightening. So they won't come loose on you. So now we have two of them on there. Let's see how that one runs. Looks pretty good. Let's just click her on here. Takes it a little while to get up to speed. This grinder's got a little bit of age on it. But that's pretty much all you have to do to set these up. Of course, now it's going to run quite a bit longer again, just because of the fact now I got 12 pounds of balanced flywheels on.